Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. I'm your host, Wayne Holloway, and thank you once again for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. And like always, if you want to see something on our show or you have a bright idea or something you want us to implement on the show, drop them in those comments below or hit us on any one of our social media outlets. Holla at us, we holla back. But without further ado, let's jump right into it because the NBA playoffs is running hard and strong and is live. But first, let me introduce you to my co-host broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. Here is Mr. Steven Rubain. Oh man, here we go again. Steve, are you there, man? What Cleveland Cavaliers? What's going on, Steve?
Is the coast clear? Is the coast clear?
Steve. You got to stick behind your predictions, even if they're wrong, man. Even if they're wrong. Now I know you thought LeBron was going to carry the Lakers and they were going to do this and do that, but he's never really carried a team. He's kind of like just brought him along for the ride.
I've been dealing with LeBron haters all week long. I can't take it no more.
I don't think anybody really can hate LeBron.
It's been painful, man. It's been painful. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to turn. I had to run to Cleveland, and now Cleveland's letting me down. I got nowhere to go.
Oh my goodness!
If Cleveland loses the series, I might have to leave the country.
Wow.
So I don't know where to go. But where do we start?
You can always take refuge with me in Golden State and watch Steph Curry play.
We'll get to them. We'll get to them in a few minutes. But let's start off with the Lakers. I'm just going to continue where I left off with last week. JJ Redick, gotta go.
Wow.
Gotta go. I know it was his first season. They're going to give him all the, it was his rookie season, blah, 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 blah. He made too big of a mistake to be rectified.
Mm.
Did you watch the game last night? Did you see the Golden State game last night?
Yes, sir.
Golden State went up against the same Minnesota team that dog walked the Lakers. They played 12 players over 10 minutes. The whole team played for Golden State last night. And they won by 11. Now, this is the same Laker team that only could play 5 guys and played the same 5 guys the whole second half. Now you gonna tell me that some guy named Post, who I didn't even heard before, got 20 minutes last night against Minnesota and scored 6 points? We couldn't get no Lakers to play other than the starting 5.
Coaching error?
Coaching error. Yeah, it's a coaching error. You got 40-year-old LeBron James. You got Doncic, who everybody talking about all season, he's out of shape. And you're going to have to play the whole second half and expect them to win? Horrible coaching.
So let's say it like this, Coach Steve. If you were coaching, what would you have done?
I would have found a way to get 2 or 3 of those guys some time to give them a breather. They needed to play Jackson Hayes. He needed to be out there. He's the only size the Lakers had.
Right.
So even if he's not scoring, he's still putting a body on. They let Rudy Gobert go 27 points and 20-some rebounds. That guy's never done that in his life.
Wow.
He had a field day because they played small ball and gave him no competition for the rebounds. So, yeah. That's all I got to say about the Lakers. I'm done with them.
So what are we saying? Now the finals is all up to Golden State?
No. But I do need to bring up another disappointment because this has been a bad year for LA sports teams. The Los Angeles Clippers.
That's like regular.
I mean, but this year there was actually a belief that the Clippers actually had a chance to do something this year. I mean, James Harden is the biggest, does not show up in game 7s. Anybody we could think of. I mean, he just does not show up for game 7s.
It kind of sounds like LeBron. Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad. I can't say that about him.
No, you
Can't
can't.
say that. How many points did he get in the fourth quarter?
Not many because he was
Mm,
tired. He had to play the
mm.
whole second half.
Well, I've seen games where he didn't have to play the whole second half, and same thing.
Anyway,
But hey, you know what? In other news,
all right. Well, let's go on because the second round of the playoffs has been nothing but upsets. Tonight, the Knicks upset the Celtics again. So they're taking a 2-0 lead on the road in Boston.
mm, mm,
Nobody
mm,
saw this.
mm.
Golden State went on the road and beat Minnesota last night by 11.
Yes, sir.
And Denver went on the road and beat Oklahoma City. So we got nothing but upsets going on. And
Hey,
when we get to Cleveland, Cleveland lost again to Indiana. So they're down 2-0. So it's been nothing but road teams.
this
This whole
final
season.
bracket is looking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas is making a killing because there's been nothing but upsets. So I know they're making a killing.
Because I know the point spread was in favor of the underdog.
Oh, big time, big time.
So all you had to do is take the underdog and the points and win.
Yeah. It's been it got to turn around though. I can't see it staying this way. So I think these next couple of games, you're gonna start seeing the favorite team pull out some wins, and so that's my prediction.
Hey, well, I'm riding with the Warriors. You can hear it in my voice already. I've already stated who I'm riding with is the Warriors and Steph
Right.
Curry.
Well, just know right now, Steph Curry got a problem. He had a hamstring injury. They say he may not play for the next week. So the Golden State's gonna have to find a way to win without him for these next couple of games.
And then he can come back with that charge.
Yeah, that's the hope. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But that's a big injury report right there. So it's going to be an interesting couple games. That's for sure. I'm watching. So NBA action is fantastic.
Hey, Steve, when are we going to get to see you back on camera, man?
I'm gonna try to make it back next week. I think I'll be back next week.
You got to come out of hiding. I believe you probably got a couple swole eyes from from all the stuff he was talking to.
No, I'm in pain right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm in a lot of pain. So, but I should be back next week, ready to move on because next week we're gonna get some little more action going.
And Charles Tongue said Celtics. Yeah, they down too, sir. They down
They're 2-0 right now, so they got a lot of work to do to catch up. So we're gonna wait and see.
Yeah,
right now, I think I don't know. Celtics and Cleveland are both losing out, so I don't know what to make. Those were the two teams that they want to be the Eastern Conference Finals, so they got the work cut out for them.
It's a long path, though. We got some games.
Yeah. You got to win on the road in the NBA to win, so they got to go back and win these road games coming up. So
when it gets this time in basketball and down to the playoffs, then we get down to the finals. It's a lovely time for me because you know what, that marks the opening of football season.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna jump the gun. But I just the opening of football season just does something to me. It does something. I smell fantasy in the air coming back. Wow, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Well, next Thursday the 15th, the next big thing on the calendar is the unveiling of the NFL schedule. Who would have thought releasing the NFL schedule would become such a big undertaking? I mean, they're going all out with a whole day worth of teasers and events going on to mark the start of the NFL season.
I love it.
Love it. So that's the next big thing. But we got a trade. Let's get to NFL news.
NFL news, a trade coming in.
Yes,
I know y'all heard the rumors all day long. Steve, do the honors and say what happened.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. George Pickens is what happened. Now, George Pickens, talent galore, but a grade A headache. He's that new generation of me. I'm always open. Throw me the ball. Who does that sound like? Who does that remind you of?
A few people, but
A few people, yes. We've got
I'm
some
starting to
classic.
wonder: is Pittsburgh cursed to get wide receivers with mental issues or act like they have mental issues?
I don't
I'm
know.
clear. I'm clear to what from what I've seen. Antonio Brown has a true mental issue, but my goodness, Dante is it Dante Johnson, Antonio Brown, and now George Pickens, all from the Pittsburgh. Does Pittsburgh just know how to work with people to have issues? What's going on over there?
I don't know. There used to be a time when Pittsburgh was known for having classy guys. You had Lynn Swan, you had Hines Ward. You have wide receivers that were known for their class. But the last 15 years, woof, they've gone through the cycle.
Well, that's questionable with as long as they had Antonio Brown and we never knew of a issue like he had. I don't
No,
understand how they kept it on the wraps for as long as they did. And wow, how do you deal with something like that in the locker room?
great question. Well, because he made plays. They dealt with it because as long as he was making plays, they kept it under control. But once he started to show a little deterioration, he had to go. And that's when he moved on. And
Antonio
so,
Brown has a clear case of something going on in the mental issues. Now, George Pickens, and I could see him being like sort of a prima donna, and
right.
Dante, I'm on the fence with him, but it it's kind of clear to see how many teams in 1 year.
Yeah. Well, Deontay John, he signed a new contract with Cleveland. So,
Yeah, but this time they were smart. They see his issues with getting on the team, and then he gets ants in the pants, where he gets antsy and he don't want to do this, and then he don't want to play. He got family issues. He just don't know what to do with himself. So now he's under like a league minimum of 1.6 million, and it's incentive based.
yeah. So we'll see if that motivates, puts a fire under him, because this might be his last chance. So, where do you go from Cleveland? I mean, I think that's the bottom of the barrel. So if you can't make it in Cleveland, that's pretty much the end of your
Well, I
career.
can't really call Cleveland the bottom of the barrel. And shout out to Darnell. He said, Mr. Bang Bang 49er in the house. And shout out to my guy, Glenn White. He said, what's up, peoples? Carolina, that's what's up.
Okay, all right. Well, I know Carolina's feeling good about themselves right now.
Of
They still,
course.
yeah, they still got to show on the field, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, it's going to show. It's
Okay,
going to show.
okay,
But
okay. All
Pittsburgh,
right.
you think they recover from this? Do you think getting DK Metcalf will offset this? Because getting DK Metcalf with George Pickens was like an upgrade for Pittsburgh. All the quarterback had to come in and just facilitate.
Well, yeah, this is an upgrade because they got DK Metcalf. He's a
Yeah, but
better player
it's
than.
kind of they had like two big caliber wide receivers, and now they've lost one again.
Okay, so then somebody else will step up. They'll find somebody else to. Man,
Yeah.
this is Pittsburgh.
Hey, and
This
I'm not saying
Pittsburgh.
nothing about Pittsburgh. Anybody that knows me know that with Mike Tomlin as the coach, Pittsburgh always finds a way. They always find a way to make it to the playoffs, even though their roster doesn't say they should make it to the playoffs.
So yeah, because starting off at the very minimum, they'll be 9-8 because he's never had a losing record. So at the very minimum, they're gonna be 9-8. And then if they just get a break here or there, like last year, they're what 12-5, 11-6. So I
Right
mean,
now, is it Mason Rudolph their quarterback?
no, yeah, I think it is Rudolph now. That's
Yeah.
right. They do have Rudolph. Rudolph and
You
Skylar
think
Thompson.
that's going to do something even with Metcalf?
They'll find a way with defense and with whatever they manage to squeeze out. They'll
Wow.
still manage to go 9-8. It's just
We're going to be going over topics this week, so I'm going to put up the phone number so people can call in at will. At will.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear what you have to say.
If you want to call in, that's 1-909-844-4443. The topic is we're just going over right now. We're going over Pittsburgh and George Pickens trade to Dallas Cowboys.
Now we
Now,
got to talk about the Cowboys.
does this trade improve the Cowboys offense?
Yes and no. It could if he could go out there and try to be the number two. I remember this is the same George Pickens who last year came out on the field with eye black on saying always open. So he thinks he can get the ball anytime he wants it, every time. So
hey, that's normal with wide receivers,
right,
but he's extra'd out with it.
But it's a different story when you were the number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
We know in Dallas, he's definitely at best number two. He's not passing CeeDee Lamb. And so CeeDee Lamb's going to get all the first looks. So can he handle not being that first target guy, not being the guy who they're looking at first?
Or would he go there and melt down as well?
And that's going to be the question. That's going to be the big issue. So we'll have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see.
You know what? I would love to talk to Mike Tomlin. He must have great patience to deal with these problem wide receivers on his team.
And get something out of him. He gets something out of them for as long as he can. And then
he did a great job. Excellent job with Antonio Brown.
Get this. The last time the Steelers had a losing record was in 2003.
Wow.
So that's 22 seasons they've had winning records.
Wow.
Think of how crazy that is. So Steelers will find a way to still be in contention, to still be fighting for a playoff spot. So we're gonna wait and see how this trade turns out. Like I said, if George Pickens can handle being at number two, it could elevate the Cowboys into competing with Commanders and Eagles.
I think the Cowboys are elevated now that Dak has two number ones on his team, two bona fide number ones on his team. I believe now that he has those two number ones that CeeDee Lamb is going to be wide open because he's going to get the ball to George Pickens so much that they're going to have to double Pickens, and that leaves CeeDee. There's no one you can double team at that point. There's no one you could double team at that point. There'll always be somebody open on the Dallas Cowboys offense. This is up to Dak Prescott, and this year is his put up or shut up year. Right. Correct? Am I correct or am I correct?
I think every year in Dallas is a put up or shut up year. It's the Cowboys.
You want to say that, and I've said that before, but yet still another year comes and Dak Prescott is still at the helm of the Dallas Cowboys.
But again, we've talked about this before. Are the Cowboys committed to winning? We've said this year after year after year, where they've had teams that people sit there and said, this is the year the Cowboys are going to break that spell. They're going to and they've had those 12-4 seasons. They've had those first place years, and they still.
White says Pickens is inconsistent at times.
Right, the Cowboys are inconsistent at times. So I mean, it's a match made in heaven. They're inconsistent, and he is. So he fits right in. He'll show signs of greatness, and then he'll show signs where he's not. Can't be found.
I think the Dallas Cowboys' biggest question mark this year will be running back.
Well, yeah, isn't it running back every year for the last how many years? When's the last time you had to go back to probably Marion Barber? The last time they had.
Ooh, you brought up a name, Marion the Barbarian.
Yes, that was the last time when you could truly trust the Cowboys' running game. Maybe Ezekiel Elliott his first year. Maybe first year he was pretty solid. But I think Marion Barber was the last time they had a true number one running back.
I really do not know what happened to Ezekiel Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott, oh man, yeah,
he went away.
Well, honestly though, he's gone the way most running backs to give you a good solid 2.5, 3 years, and then after that they deteriorate. That's the average running back. You know, of course, you got the exceptions, guys like the Emmitt Smith who played 10, 11, 12 strong years.
Adrian Peterson,
yeah, another one who had a long, solid career. But most part, if you get 3 good years out of a running back, you did something. And then
Wow.
after
So
that,
that's why they try to devalue that position.
yeah, because it's not a position that is for longevity.
Hmm.
So get them on that 4-year deal where they're still on that rookie deal, and then by that 5th year, look at Chubb. As great as Chubb has been, he can't find a home now. He's still trying to figure out where he's going to go. He's been productive every year he's been in the league.
I don't
Minus
think,
injuries.
and I don't want to put a mark or anything on his career because he's had an excellent career. But from a fan's point of view, here on Blow the Whistle Sports, I wouldn't even put that man through this trauma anymore after seeing his leg get bent back like an action figure twice.
Twice.
My
Well,
goodness.
if you think about college, 3 times because he had a horrible injury at Georgia. So I
Wow.
mean, he's been through 3 major knee surgeries, and so yeah, I mean it's but he's the heart of a warrior. He won't give up. I mean, that's the kind of guy you want on your team. Is somebody who is going to give you his all.
But once somebody has an issue and then they have the issue again, then again, doesn't it seem like broken goods or
Yeah,
is something wrong with that particular part of your body?
well, I mean, well, especially for a running back. I mean, his legs are his money, his meal ticket.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean that's a huge concern. I mean, if you're going to sign him, you got to put a lot of incentive in the contract, and then you got to have it out because there's no guarantees you're going to get through the season. So yeah, it's a tough one. But
Guess
I think
what?
somebody.
Gabe Davis has been released from the Jaguars.
Yeah, his career dropped quick.
Mm-hmm.
He went 2 years ago. He looked like he was going to be a great, solid receiver for Buffalo, and yeah, he just fell. I mean, the NFL is a tough league. You think about how many players who look amazing, great, and then all of a sudden, just like that, they just dropped. Keenan Allen, he can't find a home now. Keenan Allen's been a solid receiver for the Chargers and for
A
many
hurt
years.
wide receiver for many, many years. Hurt.
Yeah, hurt, but that's
Constantly hurt.
yeah, but that's part. I mean, we can say that about player after player after player. I mean, it's the NFL is a rough league. It's
Matthew Stafford finally finalized his contract. He earns 44 million just for the 2025 season.
yeah. Well, I mean, LA's all in for this season. They feel this is the year they might make one last Super Bowl run. So why not?
Julian Edelman has entered the Hall of Fame for the Patriots.
As he should. He was a great player for them for a number of years, so he should get in the Hall of Fame. I would definitely put him in the Patriots Hall of Fame.
What do you feel about Baltimore releasing that kicker?
2 things. Number one, his productivity fell off last year. I mean, there's no question he wasn't the same kicker that he's been throughout his career. His Hall of Fame should be Hall of Fame career. I'm saying should be, minus this off the field stuff. He'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer if it was just up to his play. This stain that's going to be put on him may be enough to keep him out, or at least keep him out for the foreseeable future. He may be one of those who gets in after he's gone. Baltimore has always been an organization that will stand by you till they can't stand by you no more. So they stood by him, but now it's time to move on.
Time to move on.
So I trust the Ravens. I know they drafted a kicker. They'll find a way. They're still going to be the Ravens.
I guess to be kind of finishing up the news before we move on to other major topics in football, the Browns linebacker Devin Bush arrested on simple assault, harassment charges.
I mean, we've had this conversation over and over and over and over and over again. You got to hold yourself to a different standard when you are an NFL player. You
if
you
you
just
are a
can't
person of interest,
you
if
just
you
can't
have some dollars in the bank, hold yourself to a different standard, let alone the NFL shield. Come on now.
you can't just be like everybody else. You can't just do common people things. You know, when you're a common person, you can snatch something out of somebody's hand. You can make a threat towards your girlfriend. Not that I'm saying that making threats towards your girlfriend is a good thing, but when you got a little bit of money in the bank, it
You
has a
can't do
different
that. You
it
can't
has a
do
different reference to it than if you are broke.
you have to think beyond the simple, normal, everyday of every person. You are a professional athlete.
Which
Even
means
if it's warranted what you want to say that you feel in your heart or you think you have to say it, you are under contract. You are an employee of a organization that has zero tolerance. What is the problem?
I mean, every year the NFL for all 32 teams should show the Ray Rice video
Wow.
to their players as just a reminder of how in an instant you can destroy your career.
How you can have everything in the palm of your hands
Yes.
and give it away with a simple action that you will regret for the rest
Yep.
of your
You're right.
life.
This man was a clear number one running back, one of the top 10 running backs in the league at the time, in a great situation and a great organization. In
That
one
should hold
discretion,
volumes to the people who want to play,
yeah.
who believe they have what it takes to play. And then
Mhm.
every year it gets disrespected by a player that's in already and solidified, and
It's a
charges come up.
yeah.
Drunk driving comes up. When there's Uber, when there's family and friends, you have millions of dollars in your pocket. You can have your best friend drive you wherever and you still get a drunk driving charge. I don't.
Speaking of that, Henry Ruggs, remember that name?
Oh my goodness,
They
Raiders.
said, yeah, they're saying now that he's been working out like a dog in prison, and the talk is that he wants to try to salvage something of a career, hoping that he should be able to get out in the next year. And maybe, he's only 25, 26.
I
That's
don't
a
even think
step
he's
up.
that old.
Yeah, his career. Well, yeah. Well, it's been about 4 or 5 years now. He's
Wow, it's been that
hard to believe it's
long.
been that long, but yeah, it was about 2000. It was around the time of COVID, 2020, 2021, when he got in his trouble. So yeah,
And you brought back memories. Like wow,
I mean, that's a classic case of one DUI incident in his whole career. I mean, never got a
he
chance to even get
just
off the
got
ground.
to the money. He didn't even get to play with the
He didn't get
money
to
yet.
play. No, I mean it's just painful.
Wow,
So yes, they're saying now he's trying. Yeah, it was 2021, so 4 years ago.
he'll get a chance.
He'll get a chance. So we'll see. I just remember for the Browns, the guy who's a Gordon. Remember Gordon, the wide receiver who had drug?
The not mental, but he had
No, he
substance.
had drug. No, just substance abuse. Gordon, Josh Gordon, and
Yes,
they gave him chance after chance after chance, and he was able to come back and have one little, push back with the Browns. We had one little
but he
solid.
didn't have the same zest. It wasn't. He wasn't all the way there. Like it was a shadow of his former self, and that's sad to see because he had Calvin Johnson
Yeah, he had,
dreams.
yeah, he had,
People put him on that type of level.
yeah, yeah. He could have had the world at his feet if he would have just been able to control uh, the drug usage. And so, yeah, it's just,
And I don't condone drug usage, but there has to be times in your life where it's time to do certain things or time to try things. And when you have an athletic career, it doesn't seem like that's the time. You know what? Let me start trying to do drugs now. And I haven't even got the money.
mm,
Now I can see once you've got the bag, you've tried this, you tried that, and you want to be one of those people that just want to try everything. That's on you after your career. So You have money to fall back on for um um going to get help, anything. But messing your so-called bag up before you even acquired it.
It's crazy.
You know what? Let's get into some real football news, Steve, because that's just bringing me down. Player after player after player with high hopes, high expectations, and then it's just down the drain because they want to smoke or sniff or whatever habit they have, man.
But,
Whatever habit they have.
but since we're talking about bringing you down, let's talk about Shedeur Sanders.
That's bringing me up. Shedeur Sanders, that's a great talent.
Well, we got a fan out there who has decided he wants to do the frivolous lawsuit of the year and is going to sue the NFL for $100 million, saying that Shedeur Sanders is a victim of racial discrimination. Now, where do we start? Now,
Hey, well, I'll start it off. I feel that's all a matter of opinion.
Opinion? This is the law we're talking about. There's no opinion in the law. The law is the law. You got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, but the charges are all of a matter of opinion.
No. He's suing, saying that Shedeur Sanders had racial discrimination. That's not an opinion. He's saying that an actual case of discrimination happened. So you got to prove in a courtroom beyond a reasonable doubt that the NFL was engaged in the act. So that's why I'm talking about this. Is why this is a frivolous lawsuit. You are right.
Not his opinion.
It is an opinion, but the problem though is that he's suing, which makes it a legal situation. Legal is not about opinion; it's about being able to prove a fact.
True, but so you're allowed to feel however you feel,
right,
and be proven wrong of your feeling.
No, that's the frivolousness of the lawsuit. What you're saying is why the lawsuit is frivolous, because it is a matter of opinion, but he's going through the trouble of filing an actual lawsuit. We talked about this last week. Perception is reality. Remember we had this whole conversation?
True.
The perception was that Shedeur Sanders is arrogant. He thinks he's above the league. He thinks that he was better than what he actually is. That's the perception.
Well, that's the perception of a cultural bias, as I said. But I understand the perception as you and I see it, and as the owners can say they see it.
Yeah.
But I'll say again, to me, if I would have heard Shedeur Sanders, culturally, I would have been like, I want that guy because that guy wants to win. And he's from a family that's either put up or shut up. You don't just talk in that family. You have to walk the walk, and especially when you're talking the talk.
Let me give you a different example to kind of put this in perspective. And you can identify with this because when we were kids, you remember when growing up, either it was a football or basketball, or it could be kickball, something where, a bunch of kids were all there. And then you had two guys, and the two guys are going to pick who's going to be on which team.
Yeah.
And so says, I'm going to pick John. And the other guy says, I'm going to pick Robert. And the other guy says, I'm going to pick Sam. And I'm going to, those picks were just based off of so-and-so thought, that's my friend, or so-and-so's like, oh, that's the biggest kid out there. I'm going to pick him, Martha. Oh, that's the fastest kid. It's random. It's opinion.
Right.
That's what a draft is. A draft, when you talk about it, NFL draft, NBA draft,
right,
whatever draft it is, you're taking people who are so-called experts. They call them scouts. They call them draft evaluators, whatever.
Okay.
And they make an opinion based off of what they perceive a guy is going to do at the NFL level.
Right.
Never seen them play an NFL game in their lives. It's an opinion. That's what a draft is.
100%.
And so when you're talking about Shedeur Sanders in the draft, you had two sides going. You had, of course, his dad, Deion Sanders, who is, of course, a huge voice. And Deion Sanders is talking about, my son should be the first quarterback taken. My son is great. My son done this. My son done that.
Right.
You have the so-called experts, the draft evaluators, the team scouts, whatever, we don't know what their hand was because they're not going to sit there and ever praise a college player. They're not going to sit there and say, this guy should be the number one quarterback. This guy should be number two, blah, blah, blah. It's just based off of what we think they're going to do.
Right.
So when we talk about Shedeur Sanders, there was nothing that said that Shedeur Sanders should have been drafted in the first round other than opinion.
That was the expectation, right?
Well, expectation based off opinion, based
But
off
the
of
expectation based off opinion of the
of the
NFL,
voice.
right?
No, not the NFL, of Deion Sanders. Because Deion Sanders is the
Nah,
only
before
voice.
Deion Sanders, I heard everyone, even every channel, First Take, all of them expected the Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders to go number one or number two or
Right.
top 10.
Well, again, based off of what though? Based off of
Well, you know what? Let's go based off of the last 10 years. Never has everybody been this wrong about a player. So everybody expected this man to go at least top 10, Steve.
Okay.
Or at least second round, Steve.
Okay.
And that's based off of every show. Every show that I've watched, they expected this, they expected that. And every year, even if they were wrong, they were pretty damn close. This was the only year that I hear what you're saying, and I agree to an aspect of it. But come on now. He was expected to go higher than what he did, even by some of the best analysts.
Okay, we can all go off of that. Look at his brother, Shiloh. His brother wasn't drafted at all. He was signed by the Chargers as an unrestricted free agent.
No, Tampa Bay.
Sorry, you're right, Tampa. Tampa signed him as an undrafted free agent.
Right.
Now, he's a Sanders. You know, if the so-called the Sanders mystique, why was he not drafted?
I can't let you use that because the Sanders mystique was talked about only with Shedeur. They said that the other son they got Tampa Bay drafted, he is talented, but the mystique, everything that rubbed off from Deion is supposed to be in Shedeur.
Okay. Supposed to be, but once again, based off an opinion.
Hey, well, we thought Jamarcus Russell was the number one pick.
Exactly.
So did all the analysts, and they paid him accordingly. And he played how many seasons, Steve?
I could talk about Mitchell Trubisky. The Bears moved up to number 2 to draft him. Look how that turned out.
Hey,
look at the Steelers when they drafted Kenny Pickett. Look at the Eagles when they drafted Carson Wentz.
I will double down.
We can go.
Soon as Shedeur gets to step on that field, he's going to show up and show out.
And I hope so. And that would be the best thing for the situation is he go out there and show that he deserved to have been drafted higher than he was. I mean, I said last week.
He's going to make at least 30 teams wish. And the reason I said 30 teams because there are people in the league called Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. He's going to make other teams wish that they would have at least put him on their roster.
Well, we got one who's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in 2 years, Tom Brady, who came out this week and said the only thing Shedeur Sanders can do right now is prove them wrong. And Tom Brady is a classic case of 30 teams had a chance to draft him for 5 rounds, and nobody took a bite on him.
199.
Tom Brady. I mean, 100. He 8 or 9 different. I think it was 10 quarterbacks were drafted before Tom Brady that year.
So which means the all the best analysts can be wrong.
Exactly, and that's why I said for last week, Shedeur Sanders is in the best situation because of what they did. Instead of him having to go in there and prove that he's not just a starter but a franchise quarterback, all he got to do now is just go in there and play.
Yeah, I liked what you said about that. No pressure.
No pressure. You just go out there and play.
Yep.
What you do, if you meant to be, you're going to be on the NFL roster, and when time comes for you to show out, you show out.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get the shine.
And that's it. And then that's all you can ask for. I mean, I wish more players were put in his situation where their stock fell because
I wish the NFL would go back to quarterbacks being drafted at least 1 to 2 years before you need them to be
exactly.
mentored by the guy that you have already, the veteran presence. Do these quarterbacks right. Give them a chance to mature. Give them a chance to see the speed of the NFL and
Mhm.
implement them into the game. Stop throwing these young men that come from playing with their peers to go play with the pros. Stop throwing them in the fire. Stop it.
Yeah, we've seen it time and time again. For every Jaden Daniels, we can name 15, 20 quarterbacks who not going to say are the same talent level as Daniels, but are at least in the same realm that don't make it, who fizzle out, who never get past just being okay because they never got a chance to develop.
What I like about being on film is I'm gonna make so many clips when Shadur Sanders start just showing and proving about what I said about this young man. Soon as you put the ball in his hand, he's going to ball out. Glenn White says, "Do you think Deshaun Watson is finished?"
Well, good question. Finish in what regards? Will he ever step on the field again?
No,
I think he'll
I
step on
get
the
what you're
field.
saying. No, we know that he's going to be in the NFL. Finished as a QB, I think not. He's still getting 200 and was it 40 million or 30 million?
Yeah.
A team is going to pick him up. It's going to be somebody that always needs a quarterback, even if he has to back up. I think he has it in him right now. Being the age he is and partying, I don't know. I just think he just because his arm or nothing wasn't hurt, was it? What's the injury? It's with his legs, right?
It was leg injury.
Yeah, I believe. No, Watson, he still has a career left in the NFL.
Yeah.
If he keeps his mouth closed, you cannot be a QB and run your mouth.
Well, you cannot be a QB and be accused of the stuff he was accused of and then run your mouth and try to play victim. That was Deshaun Watson's initial downfall. Was
Yeah.
rather than just keep quiet on it and let it pass, he actually tried to play like he was a victim in this and don't understand why all these people are going after him.
Hate is hate. I believe he was a victim myself. Why I believe he was a victim? Because they showed tolerance to player after player after player. Big Ben got accused of rape twice,
Mm-hmm.
and they got swept under the rug twice.
But again,
Deshaun Watson did not have a criminal case against him at all. He had accusations that
mm-hmm.
no police department picked up on. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
If there were criminal activity, the police department would have had to have picked up on it because it was put out there. And what happened was once somebody complained and once it got traction, once you know about the shield, you cannot be involved in anything off the field, such as anything like this. It's against the policy of the shield. And the thing is to make it go away. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I can't say any more than that because I don't know the underline of what happened in the case or whatever, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or upset anyone. But
But
if there's
you
a
did make
criminal
a point
case,
though.
I will want the person to go to jail.
But you did make a point though. Roethlisberger kept whatever accusations against him, he kept it on the down low. You never heard him come out and
Money was exchanged and people kept their mouth
he
closed.
kept their mouth closed. And so that is where Deshaun Watson should have done. He should have came out and gave the old, I respect women, I respect their opinions.
Yeah.
Let
And
them
we're not downplaying anything about women. If any women were hurt, I want justice for them. We're
right.
not downplaying that. But what we're saying is money talks and BS walks. Hey, when you play a game and these accusations, You gotta know what you gotta do when the accusations come out, when you subject yourself to such type of attention. Did I say that well?
Said pretty well. I like it.
Hey, if you go fishing, you gotta have a fishing pole.
A fishing pole, and you got to have bait.
Bingo.
And so,
And if you catch the wrong fish that's not in season, you got to be ready to pay the fine.
There you go. So that's pretty much where it stands. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but Deshaun Watson to be fine. Hopefully, he will turn out better than Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson.
Why are you so big on Russell? Why are you so big on this man?
Because he was one of my favorite QBs, and
he had Russell Wilson had an amazing 10 years for a quarterback in NFL. If you can have 10 great seasons, he's done all you can be asked to do. He had 10 amazing seasons. The last 3 or 4, he's deteriorated. I mean, Tom Brady spoiled you is what the problem is. You were spoiled by Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, those guys are freaks. You don't get to 35.
Tony Romo was an excellent QB.
Yes. Towards the end, Tony Romo fell off.
Tony Romo
was great from 24 to about 30.
And that's why I think maybe Dallas is cursed, because when it comes to playoff time, it's just
they stuck with Romo too long. Romo was 2 years too long. They stuck with him. Once you get past 30, your quarterback skills deteriorate. You lose your mobility. You're not as mobile as you used to be. Your decision making is not as sharp. I mean, that's common for almost all quarterbacks.
Hey, not Tom Brady.
So that's what I'm saying. Tom Brady spoiled you because here's somebody at 40, 41, 42 got better. I mean, he found.
You know what I think should happen? I think Tom Brady should have a QB class where he picks the QBs that he likes, and he takes them under their wing, and he talks to them about the game. He talks to them about how to do their body in the offseason.
Keep your body straight.
He needs even if he doesn't have a class, do a video, a serious video, a 5-part video, mind, body, think of different names, arm strength, arm training, this 5 videos, and put it together for QBs for time to come, for them to go and listen to the great Tom Brady speak about even your mindset coming into the NFL, your mindset, even if you're drafted as a low number, your mindset once you're at the helm of any team, put in that work. How to carry yourself with poise, how to condition yourself, your mind, for certain situations. I think that would be lovely for the NFL, for QBs.
Yeah,
just a suggestion.
I would have no argument with there, because he is the standard. He's the one who set what every quarterback should strive to. You're not going to beat him, but you should strive to get to that level.
Did you hear what Steve said? You should strive to get to that level. Drafted 199th in the draft. Best QB ever played the game. And you want to say arguably, but come on now.
But remember, when he went to New England, you had Drew Bledsoe, who was only 2 years removed from leading the Patriots to the Super Bowl and was clearly cemented as the number 1 guy. What happens? Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. Tom Brady gets his moment. Never gave it up again.
Never looks back.
Never look back. I mean, and that's what it comes down to, is that you're going to get your moment. You got to make it. And that's why we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. He's going to get his chance when he steps out there to be that quarterback.
Oh.
When he gets that chance, he got to run with it.
His last name is Sanders. He'll be fine.
Okay.
And then it's going to speak volumes. It's going to speak volumes to the people who doubted Deion and what he was talking about with his son. Now, what I hope doesn't happen is that he gets a coach that is forced to play him, that doesn't like him, that doesn't like his daddy. He
Right.
needs to have a coach that wants to win and wants to win only, not looking into politics or any of that other stuff. I need him to get a coach that wants to get in there and use his abilities as strength. Don't get a person that like Bryce Young had when he started, that wants to make a QB do what he wants him to do against what his strengths are. That's the difference. And that's not even a disclaimer. That's the difference. Shadir Sanders, when he gets his chance, and if he has somebody, he has to be himself and go out there and ball out. Because if you ball out and you win, they can't say anything about you. They can talk under their breath, but you're a winner. Just
It's so
saying.
funny. I was thinking about you. I was watching on Monday a WWE Raw, and they were in Lincoln, Omaha, Nebraska. And so who's sitting in the first row? Your old ball coach, Matt Rule, coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers with two of his players, celebrating how he's a dominant. And I'm just laughing away. I'm thinking of Packard, how much Packard loved Matt Rule. And
How much I loved who?
Matt Rule, you know who he is.
Don't say I loved him.
Oh, that was your guy. That was your guy.
That was not my guy.
When I told you that he was a bum coach, you swore up and down, give him time. He's going to be all right.
I'm glad we on film because you like to sure say I say a lot of stuff.
Go back and watch the video.
The only thing that I've ever said when it comes to my team is I'm never going to put us in a bad light. I'm always going to think before the season in a good light. And then as the season goes, I'm always to keep a positive way about myself until the team shows me what it is.
I give you the truth. I come at you real from the start. I saw that Panther team when they had Baker Mayfield, you had Sam Darnold, you had McCaffrey, you had who was your other? Yeah, what's his name was good running back too. What was the other running back?
I'm not helping you out, Steve.
Huh?
You trying to talk bad about my team?
I'm telling you. If you remember on the show, I said Carolina has a chance to be a playoff team, except for your coach. I said your head coach will find a way to keep that team from winning. And was I right or was I right?
Well, Matt Rule was not a NFL coach. He's a college coach, and he needs to stay a college coach. He tried to come to the NFL and play grown men just like he was still a college coach. He is not a good leader of men. He's a good leader of young men, but not a good leader of men.
That Carolina team was loaded, and he destroyed what should have been a dominant Carolina run.
Okay, moving right along from you talking about my team, where do you think Amari Cooper will end up?
Cooper,
I'm thinking Pittsburgh is a good spot for him.
Yeah, that actually it's opened up now. Now that what's the name is gone, that would be a smart move. I mean, Cooper has never shown any negative off the field stuff in his career. Only thing that's held him back has been injuries. So I can see him doing well in Pittsburgh.
There's two free agents on the market that I think should get swooped up pretty fast, and that's him and Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, Lockett. Yeah, you would think Lockett would be a nice veteran presence on a team, on a young team, someplace where maybe Tennessee could be a good place for him. Tennessee needs wide receiver help. They got a young quarterback there in Cam Ward. Could use a nice veteran wide receiver to get comfortable with.
I was thinking like a Bo Nix could use another veteran wide receiver.
Yeah, that could be one too. That could be another one. I can see either one of those two could be a good pick for him.
This season coming, do you think that Marvin Harrison Jr. his name will start singing? Will we see a bigger improvement this year coming?
Yeah, he was probably the biggest disappointment of the rookie class last year just because of what the expectations were for him. I think the quarterback play has to step it up. You know, how well he does will depend on how well their quarterback does. You know, we got to get consistency from that position in Arizona. We know how talented the quarterback is, but he just doesn't show up week after week.
And what team will Kirk Cousins end up on?
Yeah, that's a big one. It seems like he's holding out for that first big injury where someone will need a quarterback, need a starter, and he can step in.
I would think Pittsburgh, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't pan out, would go after him.
Oh, you would think so. But the other problem is that they're going to have to give Atlanta some compensation. And so Atlanta has some leverage there as to how much, you know, they're already paying them. So you might as well just hold on to him in case Penix gets hurt. So that's going to be the big question mark is what team is willing to give up what Atlanta would take in order for him to go.
Glenn White, what do you think is terrible? What's going on, man? Speak your mind, sir. What you think?
Yeah, let's hear this hatred. Let's hear it.
And along the Shedeur Sanders, what else do we want to talk about today, Steve?
I think we hit all the major points. You know, this time of the year, we're still waiting for, like you said, we have a couple more balls to fall, a couple more things to drop down. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, where some of these other free agencies are going to go. And that NFL schedule. Let's see who do you think is going to get the most primetime games next year? You think it's going to be the Eagles? You think it's going to be the Chiefs? You think it's going to be the Commanders? Who's going to get the most primetime games next year?
Eagles.
You saying Eagles? Okay. I think it's going to be the Commanders. I think they're now the darling of the league. I think Jaden Daniel is money for the league. And I think they're going to find, if you look at their schedule, they got a lot of primetime games on their schedule next year. You know.
Well, you know, since we have a little time left before we get off here, Hunter Renfrow to the Carolina Panthers. Okay. That's such a roster bluster right there with making our wide receiver room so much bigger and full. Him and let alone the pick from Colorado. You're gonna see some wild stuff from Carolina. Our offense should be out of this world. Out of this world, because our coach did his due diligence with this defense. Now we just got to see the defense merge together and play together. I'm excited for this new NFL season coming.
Yeah,
it's going to be a great season.
He's low cost, high reward. It's all going to, like I said, you know, when I talked last year, it's all going to start and stop with Bryce Young. We know what he can do. We know what we want him to do. Is he going to do it this year?
Bryce Young got it.
Okay.
And you better draft him. Right. Charles Tunn said Cowgirls primetime games due to Jerry.
Yeah. They usually get about a good 4 or 5 prime games, but I don't see them getting the most this year. I think the luster of the Cowboys has fallen a little bit. If you look at the ratings, KC's been getting such amazing ratings when they on primetime games. And don't forget, you still got that Taylor Swift factor, the Swift Kelsey factor. They're going to get 6, 7 primetime games. The question is going to be, will the Commanders or Eagles get more?
We're going to get up out of here. But I wanted to ask you a premature question that you just got to answer. I don't want to hear thinking or nothing. Your first thing off the top of your mind, this season, who wins the Super Bowl? 2025 NFL.
Great question. If I had the top of my mind, I had to predict who's going to win this year, I think it's going to be an Eagles repeat.
Well, it has to be 2026. You say Eagles repeat?
I think it's going to be an Eagles repeat. I had to put
And I'm just spitballing, but I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh,
I believe that after last season, Lamar puts it together and they have damn near a perfect season with ending a Super Bowl win. I
that would be
believe
a great
Patrick
story.
Mahomes will be there. Patrick Mahomes will be the thorn in their side in the playoffs.
Yeah,
And bar injuries, bar no major injuries, Baltimore Ravens take it easily next season.
I just can't see it. I just we've been saying year after year after year that Lamar Jackson's going to get it, and year after year after year, he goes back to being bully ball, goes back to being hero ball. I just think it's in him. He can't help himself. He got
Has to be the center of attention.
every center attention. He got one of the best weapons in the NFL. Who, mind you, whenever he gets the ball 20 times, it's a beast. I mean, it's just written in stone. You give Derrick Henry 20 plus rushes, he's going to get you 150 yards and a couple touchdowns. It's written in stone. And yet, for whatever reason, he does not want to hand the ball. It's insane.
Hold up a second. I've been disrespected. Charles Tongue said Buccaneers due to easy division. Bucks to the Super Bowl. First of all, Charles.
Ooh.
First of all, you heard it here on Blow the Whistle Sports. Carolina will win the NFC South Division this season. This season,
Okay.
Carolina will win the division, first of all. But, hey, you know, I'm not even going to put the Super Bowl pressure on Bryce Young. You know, just like Washington didn't put the pressure on Daniels last season. I'm not putting it on Bryce Young. But we're going to let happen what happened, okay? 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 There we go.
If Bryce Young leads Carolina to the playoffs this year, that in itself would be the biggest story in the NFL. You heard it here first. If Carolina Panthers meet the playoffs this year, that will be the number one story in the NFL.
Well, you know what? We're going to end this. We're not going to go with the what ifs or the have nots or the maybes. We're going to say we see y'all next Wednesday here, 7 o'clock, Blow the Whistle Sports. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. And tell a friend and tell another friend. Share the broadcast with your other friend, and so his other friend can share with his friend. Hit that like button. Talk to us. We talk back. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, guys. Peace out.